Morning, friends. Thank you for coming into today's practice. Today we're going to actually work on some balance postures. So it's these times it's always good to invite some balance into our lives in one way or another. So today we're going to do it through our yoga practice. Following our practice, we'll do a little meditation of leaves on the stream, which sometimes can help with all those challenging times in our life. So we'll follow our shavasana with some leaves on the stream today. So you're more than welcome to join us for that. That being said, we're going to get right into our practice, and hope you enjoy. Let's find some balance. So bring yourself to a nice comfortable seat on your mat, maybe on a bolster, have your blocks handy, maybe any straps or anything you need. And let's begin by loosening up all those bits and pieces that we have going. So bring your hands to your sides, towards your mat, and as you inhale, we're going to bring your hands up overhead, palms facing each other. Exhale, lower your right hand to the mat and bring your left hand all the way across to the right hand side here. Nice stretch to that left side body. Inhale, lengthen through the fingertips. Exhale, squeeze your right wrist. Excellent. Hands up overhead. Exhale, left hand down to the mat. Right hand right on over to that left side. Your right bicep kind of in line with your right ear here. Really feel that stretch through that right side body. A pinch in that left side body. On your next exhale, release your hands down to the mat. If you have a bolster or a blanket underneath your hips, you want to remove that here. Come to a seated position, legs extended straight out in front. We're going to bend that right leg so the sole of the foot is touching just the inside of the thigh here. We're going to inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, bring your left hand to your right thigh, right hand behind you, finding a twist here. Excellent. As you inhale, kind of lengthen through the crown, through the tailbone. When you exhale, soften a little more into the twist. Keeping our chin over our chest. We're not forcing anything. And on your next exhale, release. Bring your right leg out in front. Give the legs a little wiggle. Bend that left knee, sole the foot to the right thigh. Engage those right toes, bringing them towards the shin here. Inhale, hands overhead, palms facing each other. Keep our shoulders away from our ears. Exhale, right hand to that left thigh, left hand behind, finding our twist in the other direction here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften. Trying to get a nice little soft twist on that whole spine here. Excellent. Good job. On your next exhale, release. Maybe bring that right leg all the way around, bending behind here, bringing our hands to the mat, coming up into our tabletop. If our knees are sensitive this morning, maybe have a blanket underneath your knees. Hands nicely rooted into the ground. Feel the earth under you here. Engage those arms, make them an active participant here as we enter into our cats and cows. So biceps and eyes of the elbows facing towards the front of your mat. Shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Inhale, belly button towards the mat, chin and chest to the sky. If you've been following along with me, you're familiar with our cats and cows. As you exhale, curve that spine, tuck that chin and chest. Inhale, navel towards the mat, chin and chest to the horizon, lift that tailbone. Exhale, curve the spine, chin to the chest, push through the palms, make some space between those shoulder blades. Inhale, navel to spine. No. Inhale, navel to the mat. Exhale, curve the spine, chin to chest. Couple more on your own here. Really wake up that spine today. When you're ready, bring yourself into a neutral position. We're going to work through some tabletops, down dogs, and puppy poses. So when you're ready, curl your toes. Inhale, raise our hips to the sky, finding our downward facing dog. Keep a nice slight bend in the knees, pedal it out here. Maybe sway the hips from side to side, awakening those ankles and calves and knees. Just kind of waken everything up here. Nice. Do whatever feels right for you. Inhale, bring your gaze to your thighs. On your exhale, lower your knees to the mat. Hips all the way back to your heels. Walk your fingertips out. Stretch your arms way out in front. Child pose here. Inhale, walk your fingertips forward. Keep your forehead towards the mat, but come up off your heels. Find our puppy pose. Maybe bring your chin to the mat if that's accessible to you, finding a little more space in those shoulders. Inhale, push up through your palms, walk your hands back, curl your toes, raise those hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, bring your knees to the mat, hips all the way back to the heels. Stretch here. Walk your fingertips forward as you float the upper body, chin or forehead to the mat for a puppy pose. Inhale, press through the palms, bring yourself up, bring your hands back under the shoulders, curl the toes, hips up, downward facing dog. And do 2 more of those. Knees to the mat, hips to heels, stretch those arms out in front. Walk your fingertips forward, letting your hips come with you as you go. Chin or forehead to the mat, stretch it out. Inhale, push up through the palms, bring your hands back, curl the toes, downward facing dog. 1 more time. You can go on your own or follow along, just meet us in tabletop when you're done. Knees to the mat, hips back to the heels. Walk your fingertips forward, torso following. Push up, bring our hands back, and let's meet here in tabletop. Inhale, bring your left hand up towards the sky. Exhale, float that left hand underneath, back of the hand on the earth. Walk those fingertips, those right fingertips forward for a thread the needle. Maybe bring your right hand all the way around, reaching for your left thigh here. Do what's accessible to you. On your next exhale, release your right hand down, pushing yourself back up, bringing that left arm and left hand to the mat in our tabletop. Right hand up into our twist. exhale, release that right hand under the left shoulder. Walk those left fingertips forward. Again, maybe bring your left arm reaching around for your right thigh, opening up that chest and shoulder area a bit more. On your next exhale, unwind, releasing your hands to the mat, coming back up into our tabletop, pushing the heels back, child's pose, walk those fingertips forward, or maybe bring the hands so the palms are facing up beside your legs here. And massage the forehead. Do what you need here in your child's pose. You can come back to this position at any point today. Excellent. Inhale as you bring your back self back up to your tabletop. Curl your toes, hips up, downward facing dog. Again, maybe have a slight bend in the knees here, if that's where you're at today. It's okay if our heels don't touch. Nice and strong through those arms. Bring the gaze to the thighs. Take a look. Can you see your heels? If you can see your heels, maybe work on hiding them behind your toes. So you have nice alignment of the feet here. When you're ready, walk up towards your hands into our forward fold. Maybe grab opposite elbows, finding a brag dog here, keeping a bend in the knees, maybe sway back and forth, nod yes and no. Give it a little wiggle. Work on keeping everything loose. Check in on those facial muscles. See if the jaw is nice and slack. You're ready. Inhale, raising up, hands overhead, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a breath here. Having a wardrobe malfunction, it's okay. I'm just tucking the shirt. Find your balance in your mountain pose. Really feel your feet grounded into the earth through all those fleshy mounds on the sole. Maybe rock back and forth here. Good. Lift all 10 toes. Really feel the mounds pressing down. Engage your kneecaps, raising the kneecaps through the thighs. Let the toes relax down to the mat, making our legs active participants in our mountain pose here. We're going to work our way into our sun salutation. Get the body really warmed up here. When you're ready, inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step our right foot back, knee down to the mat. Inhale, hands overhead. Maybe finding a little bend in the back here. Pull that navel towards the spine. Really feel that stretch through that right hip. Turn those pinkies towards each other, making space within the shoulder blades. Exhale, hands to the mat. Left foot back to meet the right into plank. Maybe be on your knees if that's in your practice today. Lower down, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, raise up into cobra, using those lower back muscles here. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. Exhale, maybe through tabletop, curl the toes, downward facing dog. Take a couple breaths.
On your next inhale, step your left foot forward between your hands. Give it a boost if it needs. Lower the right knee down. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Hands to the mat. Right foot up to meet the left. Into our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Press a little bit through the palms here, finding some extension, crown to tailbone. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a full breath here. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, fold. Hands to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Left foot back, knee to the mat. Inhale, hands overhead, navel to spine. Let the hips drop a little towards the mat. Exhale, hands to the mat. Curl the back toes. Right foot back to meet the left into plank. Again, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. One more full breath. On your next inhale, step your right foot forward, left knee to the mat. Inhale, hands overhead. Bring your shoulders away from the ears, navel to spine. Your next exhale, lower your hands to the mat. Left foot up to meet the right, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands overhead. Hands to heart center. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Right foot back, knee to the mat. Inhale, hands overhead. Find a little bend here. Exhale, hands to the mat. Left foot back to meet the right plank. Knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right foot to the front of the mat, left knee down. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, fold. Left foot up to meet the right, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, hands overhead, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, bend the knees, coming into chair pose, hips floating back. Exhale, hands to the mat. Stepping back into our plank. Lowering down, cobra or upward facing dog, you choose. Exhale, curl the toes, downward facing dog. Hop or skip or step on up to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Got this one more time. Inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or hop back into chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to step that right foot forward up between our hands. Keeping that back leg extended behind us. Finding a high lunge. Inhale, hands overhead. Find your balance here. We're going to hold this just for a couple breaths. If your shoulders aren't cooperating today and you want to take cactus arms, that's okay too. If you want to challenge yourself, maybe bring your left arm under your right, finding eagle arms here, palms together. Maybe bring your gaze up towards the ceiling. Find what you need today. Find your balance. Exhale, release your arms wherever they're at. Bring them down to the mat. Step your left foot back to meet your right. Lower chaturanga or come down to your knees, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nicely done. Step your left foot up between your hands, keeping that right knee up, finding our high lunge. Work into your position here. Maybe widen your stance if that's where your balance is at. Inhale, hands overhead. Again, choose your arm variation that works for you. Draw that navel towards the spine. Maybe turn those pinkies towards each other, making a little space between the shoulders and ears. On your next exhale, bring your hands to the mat. Step your right foot up to meet your left. Bend your knees. Inhale, hands overhead, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, hands overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Just take a moment here. Excellent. You're going to inhale, bring your right knee, bend your knee out in front of you. Put your hands around your shin and bring your knee as far into your chest as is possible for you. Excellent. Try and balance. Really feel yourself through that left foot. Might feel a little wobble here. That's okay. Hold as long as it is possible for you. And release when you're ready. Really root through that left foot here. Bring your right foot. We're going to go into tree pose. You're going to choose the variation that works best for you. So we might be here with our hands on our hips. Maybe here, just our toes on the mat and the cactus arms. Maybe you're going to bring your foot to your shin. Right foot to the shin maybe. Now avoiding the knee, maybe you're able to bring your right sole of your foot to the inside of your left thigh. You choose what works best for you here. Maybe your hand's going to remain on your hip. Maybe your hands up overhead. You find your balance. If we fall out of tree pose, that is okay. It's all about resiliency. Just meet us back here when you're ready. Excellent. If you find a little more space, maybe you can bring that right foot up a little higher. Hands overhead, maybe the eagle arms. Oh, I think I'm pushing the envelope here. Exhale, release your foot to the mat, release the arms down. Give a little step here, a little pedal motion. There we go. Root through that right foot as we bring that left knee, bending our leg out in front of us. Hands around the left shin. Squeeze as much as is possible. That left knee towards the chest. Lengthening crown to tailbone here. Really feel the engagement in the right foot. Again, maybe a little wobble back and forth. That's okay. Working on balance. Nice. When you're ready, release your left foot to the mat. And again, find a variation that works for you. Sometimes our balance on one side over the other is a little
Little better, but again, maybe we're just here today, okay? Maybe we got the left sole of the foot on the inner shin area. And hands on the hips, maybe our ego arms. Bring your gaze to a fixed point in front of you. Maybe you find a little more balance. You can bring that left foot to the inner thigh. Really press that the sole of the foot into the thigh. You'll find that will help with your balance. Again, maybe your ego arms. Bring your drishti your gaze to a fixed spot in front of you. Maybe your chin lowered a bit. You got this. Doing fantastic. Nice. And when you're ready, exhale, release your arms, release your foot to the mat. Maybe step them out here. Good. Come back to our mountain pose at the front of your mat. We're going to inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Again, maybe your hands to the floor, maybe to your blocks. Choose what works for you. We're going to step back into step your right foot back. So we're into a high lunge here. We're going to inhale, hands overhead, spin your back heel to the mat, coming into warrior one. Navel to spine, pinkies together. Should have warned you, might want to have a block here as we're going to work our way into warrior three. Find your balance first. Find what balance needs to work for you. We've got a couple choices here. You can stay here, really working that core area, or you can follow us into warrior three here. So we're going to kind of feel a little bounce up. We're going to come up on those back toes. Little bounce up here, keeping a bend in that front knee as we bring our chest towards the earth, balancing out in front, hands out in front of us, maybe our hands on our hips. If you find you really have that right glute tightened up, try disengaging that right glute and your toes will come down towards the mat. Flex into the shin, doing a fantastic job. Come out of this at any point that you need to. Your next exhale, bend your front knee, bring your back leg down to the mat. Excellent. Hands on the hips here. Nice. Still in our warrior one. Maybe you have to bring that left hip in line with the right, finding a neutral pelvis. Navel to spine. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, if you can find a little more bend in that front, ensuring we don't exceed our 90-degree angle here. Right foot, back of the foot, pressing into the mat. Nice. Bring your hands to your back, interlace your fingers. Inhale, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Exhale, bring your chest and forehead down towards the mat, finding our humble warrior. Inhale, press through those hands, bringing them up towards the sky. Exhale, seeing how far you can bring those hands down in front of you. Don't force anything. Really feel the stretch through that front chest area. Inhale, push through that front foot, bring yourself back up. Release your hands, bring them down, frame your left foot back to meet the right, downward facing dog.
Inhale, step your right foot up between your hands. Again, maybe widen your stance if that's where your balance is at today. Find what's going to work best for you. On our next inhale, we're going to spin that back heel towards the mat, hands overhead, finding our warrior one. We're going to stay here for a couple breaths, finding our balance. Draw that right hip back in line with the left. When you're ready, you can stay here or bring yourself up into your warrior three. Straighten that front knee, maybe just a slight bend. Back leg coming up off the mat, extended out behind us. Very nice. Maybe your hands on your hips here again. Choose the arm position that works best for you. Disengage that left glute. If we fall out, that's all right. No big deal. Just meet us back here or meet us in downward facing dog. You choose. Maybe take a child's pose until you're ready. Really bend that front knee, bringing that left leg towards the mat again, left foot. Back into warrior one, hands on the hips. Find your stability, find your balance. Navel to spine. Inhale, bring our hands around to our back. If that's not accessible to you, maybe just your hands on your lower hip bones here. Your palms of the hands on the hip bones, okay? Find what works best for you. Squeeze the scapulas on your next exhale. Bring your chest and chin towards the mat. Hands coming up and around. As far overhead as is accessible to you. Humble warrior. Keep that back foot, back leg as a nice active member of our practice. On your next inhale, rise on up. Release your hands. Exhale, frame that right foot with your hand. Step back, downward facing dog. Give a little pedal out here. On your next exhale, release your hands to the mat. Hips back. Finding our child's pose. Take a moment here. Do a check-in, see where your mind is. See if it's still on the mat here today in our practice. Bring it back, bring your breath back. This is your time. Try not to be consumed by anything that might need to be done later today. On your next inhale, bring yourself up to tabletop. Curl your toes. Raise your hips downward facing dog. Inhale, raise your right leg. Bend that knee. Exhale, squeeze the knee towards the right wrist. Lowering your shin to the mat. Lower your back leg. Working into our half pigeon. It's okay if that shin is not parallel to the front of the mat. Worry about protecting that knee. If you find that your hips don't come all the way down, that's okay. Have a block. Put a block right underneath that hip bone. You can stay here, supported by your arms, maybe supported by the forearms. Or if it's in your practice, feel free to lower yourself down into your half pigeon. Find what works best for you, okay? We're going to be here for about 3 breaths. You can stay here for a moment. Maybe walk your hands back up, coming down onto your right forearm. Bend that left knee. Maybe reach back and see if you can embrace the toes on that left foot. Little stretch through the quad here. That's accessible to you. On your next exhale, release that left foot down to the mat. Bring your arms in line with one another. Walk your fingertips back, raising your chest, curl your back toes, right foot back to meet the left. Pedal it out here. Inhale, left foot up, bend your left knee, squeeze that knee into the left wrist, lower the shin to the mat. Extend that right leg out behind you. Maybe walk your toes out a bit more. Again, half pigeon on the other side. Feel free to stay here, supported by your arms. You can inhale, lengthen through the crown. Exhale, soften the hips down. Maybe you'll find a little room and come down onto your forearms. After a few breaths, maybe you'll find a little more room coming down. Two more breaths here. Again, maybe you want to stay here. Maybe you walk your fingertips back. Bend your right knee. Reach back and embrace those right toes. Finding a little more stretch in your right quad area. Inhale, kind of lengthen through the crown. Exhale, push the top of your foot back into your hand. In your next exhale, release your right foot. Hands out in front on the mat. Curl your back toes. We're going to come on to our left hip. Float that right leg all the way around in front. Extend the left leg to line up with that right foot here. Keep a nice bend in our knees. As you inhale, hands overhead. Exhale, bring your chest towards your thighs, reaching for your toes. Have that bend in the knees, finding a forward fold. Inhale, lengthen through the crown. Exhale, fold. Your chin kind of pressing towards your toes here. Maybe put your hands around the outer aspects of your feet. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, soften down. If you find a little more room and you want to straighten your legs, that's okay too. It's your practice. Find what you need. Keep your feet active here. On your next inhale, slowly bring yourself back up. Maybe use your hands walking up along your shins here. Good. Show some loving kindness to our spine. Bend your knees, bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Put your hands beside us. We're going to come back onto our back. You could put the hands out to the sides and lower yourself down. Maybe use your hands to lower down. Do what works best for you. Good. Hands to the mat, beside your hips, palms facing down. Walk your heels as close to the glutes as is accessible. If you can touch them with your fingertips, perfect. Take a breath here. We're going to inhale, raise our hips to the sky, walking our shoulder blades in towards one another. Maybe interlace your hands here if that's accessible for you. Inhale, hips to the sky. Exhale, relax the shoulder blades down. Pull your chin off your chest. Squeeze your knees together. Your next exhale, release your hips to the mat, vertebrae by vertebrae. We're going to add the arms in here. We're going to inhale, raise the hips and bring the arms right up on overhead to the floor in front of us. There you go. Exhale, release the hips down, bring the arms down to the sides. One more time. Inhale, raise the hips, raise the arms up overhead, back of the hands to the floor. Exhale, release the hips, release the hands down to the mat. Walk your feet out to the outer edges of your mat. Let your knees fall in. Maybe windshield washer here. Knees side to side. So begin to wind down here. Lots of balance in today's practice. Bend your knees, bring your thighs towards your chest, wrap your arms around your shins. On your next big inhale, maybe squeeze your chin up to your knees. And exhale, release your head back down to the mat. Maybe one more time. Inhale, squeeze. Exhale, release your head back to the mat. Stay here in Apanasana. Or maybe bring your soles of your feet towards the ceiling. Reach for the outer aspects of the feet here. Finding our happy baby pose. Do what you wish. Maybe rock side to side. Use your imagination here. Add whatever you think you might need to end your practice today. Maybe holding on to the left foot as we release the right down. Maybe seeing if we need to extend that leg out to the side a little further, opening up those hips a little more. Maybe you're just comfortable going straight into Shavasana here. You choose. Take another minute for yourself. When you're ready, extend both legs straight out in front of you. Let your feet fall to the side. Hands down to the sides, beside your hips, palms facing up. Maybe a blanket under your knees. Find your comfortable Shavasana. Reconnect with your breath. Check in with all the muscles. Give the toes a wiggle. Relax the toes. Give the legs a wiggle. Relax the legs. Give the hips a wiggle. Relax the hips. Give the arms a wiggle. Relax the arms. Let the head sink into the mat here. Take a nice deep inhale through the nose. Big exhale with some noise out the mouth. One more time. As you find your comfort, I'm going to come into a seated position to guide you through leaves on the stream for our final meditation. If that's accessible to you, close your eyes here, or maybe just let them rest gently on a fixed spot on the ceiling.
Now visualize yourself sitting beside a gently flowing stream with leaves floating along the surface of the water. For the next few minutes, take each thought that enters your mind and place it on a leaf. Let it float by. Do this with each thought, pleasurable, painful, or neutral. Even if you have joyous or enthusiastic thoughts, place them on a leaf and let them float by. If your thoughts momentarily stop, continue to watch the stream. Sooner or later, your thoughts will start up again. Allow the stream to flow at its own pace. Don't try to speed it up and rush your thoughts along. You're not trying to rush the leaves along or get rid of your thoughts. You are allowing them to come and go at their own pace. Your mind might say, this is dumb, or I'm bored, or I'm not doing this right. Place those thoughts on the leaves too, and let them pass. If a leaf gets stuck, allow it to hang around until it's ready to float by. If the thought comes up again, watch it float by another time. If a difficult or painful feeling arises, simply acknowledge it. Say to yourself, I notice myself have a feeling of boredom, impatience, or frustration. Place those thoughts on leaves and allow them to float along. From time to time, your thoughts may hook you and distract you from being fully present in this exercise. This is normal. As soon as you realize that you've become sidetracked, gently bring your attention back to the visualization process. Take as much time as you need here today. Continue with your leaves on the stream, and when you're ready, slowly bring yourself onto your side. Find yourself in your seated position as you go ahead with your day. Thank you for joining me for today's practice. Namaste.